All right, good afternoon, San Diego. It's me again. It's Chris, your KSA Insider. Really excited about today. We've got some great people joining me, but first off, I'll introduce Adam Nagara. He's going to be a co-host. He's actually on the Kim Steele & Associates team, so he's sitting in for his first time. And just so you know, this show is dedicated to helping people know the ins and outs of real estate so you can protect yourself from all the potential pitfalls and predators that are out there. So, let's get started. Today, I'm really excited to talk about some of the truths behind building your dream home. I hear it all the time. People come into our office and are like, I'm going to buy this piece of land and I'm going to build my dream home. And what I've come to the conclusion is they really haven't done a ton of research and they really aren't educated unless, they've seen something online, and they end up just getting themselves into a lot of trouble. So I figured today I would bring in two of the people that I consider just absolute experts in this field. And I'm so excited to have them on. So let's go ahead and introduce you to them. We have Jonathan Reich. He's the president of Zebra Construction and Design. They're out of Fallbrook, California, which is actually where I live. I have a nice little horse ranch out there, and I see these guys everywhere. They do custom homes, killer stuff. And I also have Leo Clark. He's the CEO and owner of CREST Investment Group. I've known Leo for, how many years have we known each other? For years.
5.
5 years. He knows
you were
exactly.
You were in the military back then.
I was in the Marine Corps back then. I did retire out of the Marine Corps, and I met Leo. I was going to a lot of investor club meetings. I've been an investor for a long time, and Leo is just killing it. I mean, he does fantastic work. He basically buys land at a great price. He knows his numbers. He starts building these beautiful homes. And and we'll talk about it at the end of this, but if you aren't following Leo on Facebook or some of these other places, you need to, because he actually has this cool thing, and I love it. He'll say, do you like this tile or do you like this tile?
Put it up to a vote.
That's right. And he puts it up to a vote, and then he actually puts it in the house. It's really cool. So good afternoon, guys. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm great.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good. It's so cool to have you both on. This is a show that I've been wanting to do for a while. I just see so many people get put in really bad situations because they don't understand what they're doing when it comes to whether finding the agent, buying the land, and then actually building their dream home. I hear it all the time. Oh, I found 3 acres for $30,000, and I found this contractor that'll build me a complete house for $110 per square foot. So you guys are listening to us, so you can't see the facial expressions. Let me tell you, $110 per square foot is not real. That guy's going to take your money and run. So I just thought this would be a great opportunity for experts to sit down with me, because I even have a lot of questions. I've been doing this for a while, and I myself have a lot of questions I would love to get answered. So let's get right into it.
Sure, absolutely.
First off, why should somebody consider building their dream home as opposed to buying a regular house that's on the market?
Well, there's several factors in that. I mean, from the actual going out and purchasing the land aspect, and then designing, and then having that idea of what you want, that's a long process. So if someone is ready to go down that road and they're absolutely wanting the house of their dreams, that's something that they should start seeking out the professionals on. Because once they go down that road, there's no turning back. Once you buy that land, it's yours. And like you said,
Right.
If they bought it at a good price, more than likely there's something, possibly that needs to be done with it. But if they've got a good parcel and they're able to go through a contractor or a design company and design what they want with an architect involved and so on, then more than likely they're going to end up with what they truly dreamed of.
Right. What about you? What do you think there,
People
John?
only build for one reason. They can't find what they want.
Yeah.
They'll be looking, and they'll be looking at some great property, but it just doesn't have everything they need or want.
I think I agree with you. I think that's usually the number one, cause. And most people have a pretty realistic expectation that you're not going to build your dream home in a month.
No.
It's just, that's not real. I mean, so real quick, let's just talk about basic numbers before we get deeper, because a lot of people that might be listening right now may have no idea some of the back end things that I think is important. Typical. Let's say average. What would you consider to be the average from start to finish, finding the property, buying the lot, finding the contractor, building the home, permits, due process, due diligence, timeline? How long do you think it average will take to actually build somebody's dream home?
Well, the actual construction, you could tell them from the time we break ground, you're looking at, 5 to 8 months
5 to 8
of
months.
actual construction.
Right.
Very possible.
But if they come in and they don't have a piece of land, they're just at the beginning of finding a piece of land. That depends on how active they're going to be working with an agent or looking
Right.
at land and choosing something. And that could be, we've worked with people a year or longer, meeting
Right.
them on lots, and they've gone into escrows and they've gone out of escrows. And that's before you sit down, you really start designing. In the meantime, you're getting an idea of what they want in
Right.
terms of the house.
So let's talk about the land real quick, because I think that's important. So you said 5 to 8 months, and I have my numbers in my head from what I typically experience, and I want to get your number real quick. What do you think? Because I want to come back to
Well,
something.
that's the construction side. So
Right, exactly,
that's
the
the
construction side, and that's
so
where I
I'm,
wanna
I'm
get
saying
into the
18
land.
months. From what I
Perfect.
see, 18 months is a good budget line, if you will, timeline. Because you're going to go through entitlement or process with permits and fees a good 90 to 120, maybe even 180 days.
Right, and that's where I think a lot of people get
Right.
took. They don't understand that you don't just buy the land. Now
Right.
you could get lucky. We have a beautiful parcel right now that's for sale off of Via Oeste in Fallbrook, and you're in the Fallbrook area, and we listed the house right up the street for like $950,000. Then the land we put up for like $280,000, but it's got the water, it's got the meter, it's got the electric. I mean, it's just a killer piece of property. It even has a lake with fish in it, right? And it has a pad. But there's a lot of things that are already done that most people don't take into consideration. They just buy land. You don't think about, well, I need to get water, I need to get electric, I need to ensure that my permit's in order. Before you ever swing a hammer, you're going to have to pay. We're in California.
Right.
No, people will be looking at a piece of land and they'll look at something that's, well, you gave that extreme example of $30,000 for 3 acres.
Right.
And so let's use that. And then they got a 1,000-foot driveway.
Right.
They have to do hillside construction because
Yeah.
it's on a cliff. They don't have a water meter. In Olevenhain
That's
water,
15, 20 grand.
15, 20 if you're lucky.
Yep.
In Rainbow, it's more than that. And
Yeah.
in Olevenhain Water District, we built a house out there. The 1-inch size meter was over $50,000.
Wow.
An 1.5-inch meter, which you have to get over a certain size lot, 2-acre lot out there, which is not unusual, is close to $80,000. Someone
Right.
isn't watching out for that and looking for that.
That's a nice car. For 80 grand,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so let me get this right. We got somebody to approve some 1.5-inch pipe to run through my property, and I could have just bought like a really nice used Audi R8. Right?
Well, for some people, that's a difference between, it'll say water to the property, utilities to the property. Yeah, to the property,
Yeah,
but to
to
the
the property
house.
line at the very end,
yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
pay into the district. You got to bring power up. If it's a long run on
Yeah.
electric,
You
there's
got
a
to pay for the
transformer,
schools. There's a ton of stuff.
There's school
Yes.
fees that run $250 to $5 a square foot.
Right.
So this is all the homework you want to do up front when you're buying the land.
Right.
And then a good builder.
So then I got a question for you
Will
guys.
help with.
And it's sort of like the chicken or the egg question. What do you think should be the very first thing somebody should do if they're like, I know I want to build my dream home? What's the first thing somebody should do?
Find out zoning.
Okay, find out zoning.
Yes.
Can you give us a little more?
Well, every parcel, every area of the county or city, either way, has specifics on the zoning. Some areas, especially if you're in an HOA too, require specific square footage that you must have, meaning you cannot build anything under 2,800 square feet.
Right.
You must be 50 feet off the front of the road. You must be 20 feet in, 20 feet
All
in
the
from
different
side to
measurements.
side, 40 feet from the back. So they're offsets.
Okay, so now it's starting to sound pretty complicated. So now this is what I want to say. A lot of the people that are probably listening right now, and definitely the people that listen to this show offline, and we have a ton of people that listen to it offline, they just heard all that and they're like, oh, wow, I feel pretty discouraged. I don't know if I want to build my dream home anymore. So I would question, should they educate themselves on
Yes.
that, or should they find somebody to do it for them that can maybe educate them along the way?
Well, when you bring on an architect, he more than likely is going to hold your hand through the process, and he's going to help you understand the dynamics of that lot. So here's this lot, and it's, let's just take a rectangle sheet, for instance, it's 50 by 100. Well, that architect's going to design the home that fits in what's called the build envelope.
Right.
So that build envelope is, within the setbacks. And that architect's going to hold their hand and say, here's what you can do. Here's
Right.
what you're allowed to do.
Right.
And if it's a parcel like 3 acres or larger, and if it's zoned 1 house per acre, then maybe there's a different play there.
Right, right. So you can actually, so now we start getting into the investor side of the house where we take a little bit at a time. Maybe we subdivide it, get some different APNs, sell it off, make a little bit of cash in the process, offset the cost of building my dream home. Fantastic. And that's why I wanted you on as well, so you can talk about the other angles that are always there when you buy land. So going over to you, because I know you basically, you're Zebo Construction is fantastic, and you guys build a lot of custom homes. So what I would ask you real fast, because we got to pay the bills here in about a couple minutes, I believe the first thing that people should have to do is find the land. Should they find somebody like you first to talk about that? Because I know on your website you have a due diligence checklist, which I think is fantastic. I actually shared it the other day. It's wonderful. But should they find somebody like you? Should they find a real estate agent? Should they find an architect first?
I think they need to find a builder, a local builder first, or architect and or agent who's very conversant in land in the local property that they're going to be looking at. And they'll help guide them. They'll start them out with, a short list or a list of the properties that will work given their budget, given what's realistic, given what their needs are in terms of view, proximity to schools, proximity to healthcare, if it's an older couple.
Right.
So that's what we recommend to people first. As a builder, we say if you've come up with a short list of lots or you're really considering a lot, you want to go into escrow, we'll meet out there with you, and that's something we do all the time.
Right.
And again, we will do it on multiple lots. It's just part of the process.
Right.
It's part of the service we offer.
And I think that's fantastic. I think the only place where I would kind of sort of disagree with you is the agent. So
I said knowledgeable agent.
No, everybody, if anybody listens to me ever on the radio or if you've met me in person, you're going to know that yes, I'm a real estate agent, but in my heart, I'm an investor. I believe most real estate agents are semi-scummy. I'm not a huge fan of real estate agents. I think most of them are undereducated. I think there's a low barrier of entry, and they will say most anything to try to get the deal. So they meet Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer, and they're like, we want to buy some land. And they say, you know what? Turns out I specialize in land. Right? They've never sold land ever in their life, but all of a sudden now they're a land expert, and they're gonna $30,000 for 3 acres, even though the going price per acre is about $40,000 right now. It's a smoking deal, and absolutely you could build the house of your dreams on that land. And they have no clue. They're just trying to close the deal. So I think I'm not. Look, if you're a real estate agent out there, I want to apologize real quick. Let me rephrase. If you're a real estate agent out there right now and you're not one of those people that says that, I apologize. But for everybody else, you do it. So my thing is, I think somebody should, find a real estate agent because you're going to need them in the process to buy the land. I just think that they shouldn't hang all of their laurels on just the agent. You really need to get
absolutely. It's a starting point, and we qualify that we have maybe a short list of 2 or 3 agents we're comfortable.
I'm on it, right? We're on it, right? We sell a ton of land.
And but you're right. Most agents, we come across escrows where we'll go. People are actually in escrow on a lot,
right?
And there's literally no access to it. It's landlocked. And this. It's easy to see on a map, and a good land agent wouldn't even have that on a list to look at.
Right.
But we've seen land like that.
It's wild. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pay the bills real quick. Cut into a quick commercial. We have some amazing sponsors, so make sure you listen to it. Make sure when you're done listening to it, you come back and listen to us because we're pretty awesome, and there's a lot of good content coming today. All right, here we are, ESPN 1700 KSA Insider. We'll be right back.
Ty-Court Title of San Diego is the next generation of title companies. They offer their clients the most complete real estate services in the nation. They have 4 convenient locations in the greater San Diego area to service all your residential and commercial transactions. Ty-Court Title of San Diego offers you title and escrow solutions. Whether you are buying, selling, or refinancing, they have you covered. With over a century of experience, you can count on Ty-Court Title of San Diego. They have a solid history of servicing customers with high integrity, white glove service, and value. They also have unrivaled financial strength to back your policies. For all your real estate transactions, call Ty-Court Title of San Diego today at 619-260-5200.
Alliance Escrow, the most reliable and hardworking escrow team in San Diego. Buying, selling, or refinancing a home can be a stressful event, and our friendly staff here at Alliance is ready to make your home buying or selling process as smooth as possible. We strive for outstanding customer service and are very dedicated to giving top quality service to each and every sale. Alliance Escrow will provide a special discount to active and reserve service members and disabled or retired veterans as well. Whether it's residential, commercial, bulk business, or refinance, call Alliance Escrow today and let us help you close your deal as seamlessly as possible. Call 619-609-0015 or go to www.allianceescrowinc.com today. That's 619-609-0015 or www.allianceescrowinc.com. Alliance Escrow, your partners in real estate.
Life's a bumpy road, and that's why Sears Auto Center is proud to introduce the new Die-Hard Silver Touring All-Season Tire. Rugged and innovative, it's the first tire to live up to the Die-Hard name. Come in for our great offer on 4 Die-Hard tires at your local Sears Auto Center. $50 instant savings or $100 back in points. See stores or SearsAuto.com for details and other great promotions, including Die-Hard batteries as low as $99.99. Get the power of Die-Hard at Sears Auto Centers.
Catch the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota of Escondido, Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 1700, featuring Jim Holtus, the host, and the agent, Dan McGranahan. Get fired up by amazing guests from the world of action sports, such as Supercross star Cooper Webb, UFC title contender Dominic Cruz, FMX superstar Robbie Madison, surfer Tori Meister, musician Graham Nancaro, and more. The Action Sports Show brings you the biggest names in the action sports world. Tune in every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 1700.
The INE is much more than just the office that's in charge of the elections, and more than the credential that allows you to vote and identify yourself. The INE also exists to guarantee your political electoral rights and to defend everyone's power no matter the age. It's also a place for your opinion to be heard, to promote dialogue, tolerance, and respect, and to discover and share your citizen power. With you, Mexico is more. Join National Electoral Institute, INE. Behind every statistic, there's a story to be told. Jose Adrian Barajas is a tomato exporter. His company used to have to separate tomatoes by hand. Thanks to the support he received, they now have the machines to aid in the selection process. Mexico is now the 12th largest food producer in the world. Their products have a presence in 150 countries, and food sector exportation has increased. Good things are not always spoken, but they count for a lot. Government of the Republic. Get to know more at gob.mx/informe.
Summer's almost over, but we've saved the best for last at the Home Depot, where summer savings are still going strong. Right now, save over $1,200 on an LG counter-depth stainless steel French door refrigerator and save up to 30% on other appliance special buys while supplies last. Better hurry. Summer's not the only thing going fast. Come in now for up to 30% off appliance special buys. Nobody beats our prices, guaranteed. At the Home Depot, more saving, more doing. While supplies last, U.S. only. See store for details.
All right, San Diego, we are back. Man, you know, I think I'm going to start doing some Facebook Live while we're actually on the commercials, because if you guys knew what actually happened here, you would be giggling with all the silliness that takes place during the commercials. So while we're on commercial, we're sort of sitting down and chatting about starting from square one, buying the land. And one of the things that we come up with is, instead of looking at it from the standpoint of buying something to build and have equity into the home, it's actually, how do you really buy the property? And this is where we start getting into the lending aspect of it. You got to have the money. Not everybody's running around with a pocket full of cash. And, you know, well, I've got, you know, $600,000 to throw down on my brand new home. Some people do. And you know what? If you're one of those people, congratulations. Right. Good for you. If you're not, and you're like the rest of us, you need to figure out, how do I buy it? And what I've traditionally seen a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go out and buy the land first, and then they will go and try to figure out how to get a construction loan, and then they'll try to figure out, they're breaking it up into too many pieces as opposed to doing what we were talking about earlier, reverse engineering.
Right.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, reverse engineering. What would you do? So we'll start with Leo, because this is kind of as a
That's what I do all day long.
This is what you do all day long. So
Right.
tell us, where would you start?
So from the aspect of today's market, because you're going to go down a road that's going to take you 6, 8, 10, 12, 18 months. So from today's numbers, where do you stand with that property? So let's just say it is a parcel that's in a neighborhood of 700,000. Well, you got to support that. You got to have the comps.
Right.
So the houses today must be selling for $700,000. And if you can find that Great. Now, what's the square footage? What's the criteria? 4.2, 5.2, 5.3, whatever it's going to be. So now you've got an idea of the house that's going to sell for $100,000 or $700,000.
Right.
So now you just reverse engineer it from there. You know, what is my construction cost from getting a contractor? What are my permits and fee costs? What is my utility costs? What's my holding cost? What's my finance cost? And then you minus out those numbers from that $700,000, and then you're left with a number of what you could pay for the dirt.
Right. Oh, awesome. And then now I would assume time plays into this as well.
Yeah.
So you talked about holding costs and some of these other things. So time, I would assume, also impacts all those decisions as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then once you figure out all those numbers, which sounds like pretty simple math, you know, when you put it that way, once you figure out those numbers, then it's just a matter of, okay, this is what I can afford to pay for the dirt.
Right.
So now we get into getting a loan. So instead of just buying the land separately and then trying to figure out a construction loan and everything else, what would you recommend people do in order to finance their dream home that they want to build?
Owner-occupied build loan. You know, they're out there. There's a couple banks right now that are pushing that pretty heavily, but they got to be owner-occupied because not everybody's doing spec build anymore. So there used to be banks everywhere doing spec build loans. That's gone away.
Right.
There are some banks doing some small construction loans, but the majority of banks now are doing the owner-occupied build.
What about creative financing? Are there creative financing opportunities if somebody's looking to do that?
Yeah, there's other financing ways. I mean, most of my projects are financed with private lenders. So I pay private lenders all day long 10 to 12%, and they finance the whole project.
Wonderful.
So from the acquisition to the construction to the hold costs, you know, all that is paid through private lending. But the average individual out there probably doesn't have access to private lenders like I have.
Or even let's say I know I've ran into quite a few clients where they wanted to go the hard money route.
Hard money lender.
Right. And then basically once they're done with the construction, they go out for a conventional loan. Right. And they refinance the home.
Yes.
You know, one thing about the custom home business is it's a stressful thing for people. It's a big emotional commitment and it's a big financial commitment.
Right.
So a one-time close for people that we build for it gives them a good comfort level. They can take that construction loan and then it rolls over right into financing the home on a permanent basis, a permanent loan.
Right.
These other avenues are, unless they're, the sort of personality that is used to that sort of uncertainty and stress, because they're dealing with the financial commitments, setting designing a home, all the selections that go with it, moving out of an existing home, which is a big deal,
right.
Moving into a new home. So having this extra element usually for people where they're looking at some sort of creative financing thing or hard money thing, and then they're going to get a loan. That one's for most people.
So would you guys recommend for the average, Joe that wants to go in and build their own dream home, that they should probably go and look at different financial institutions? That's a bigger bank, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. They got to find a way to finance whatever they're going to go do.
Right.
Because from that aspect, and it happens more than not.
Right.
You got to have the money in place. You cannot run out.
This is killer information, because I'm telling you. So even me, and I've been doing this for at least a minute.
A minute?
Yeah, a little while. I don't think I've ever heard somebody talk about it from that perspective. Because as an investor, I know what I know, and I've seen other investors that do this, they do it that way. But for the average homeowner, I'm telling you, I haven't met somebody yet that has walked into the office and they've sat down and taken the time to reverse engineer and set up a team in place before they decide. So they're walking in knowing this is exactly what I need to buy land at. Here's the areas where I want to be. You're the agent. So you almost take the agent out of the equation. It's almost the other way around. I see people come in and then they lean on the agent
for all the info
and to attempt to become the expert.
Right.
And honestly, a lot of the agents are sitting there and they're just Googling and saying, yeah, check out that, contractor. Oh, they can do it. And that's, in my opinion, not the right way to do it. You really want to be educated. And we talk about it all the time. Jay Massey, I saw him a little while back, and he always talks about educate to dominate, educate to dominate. And it works across the board, even in your normal life. If you're looking to build your dream home, educate yourself or get around people that know more than you, that can educate you.
Absolutely.
So you can dominate that aspect of your life and get the dream home you've always wanted.
Yes.
So I just think that's fantastic information, and I'm hoping everybody that's listening is getting something out of this. I actually might put together a note sheet after this and kind of put it up online so people can get it. So real quick, I want to talk about the nuts and bolts. the costs. Now we've touched a little bit on land, and people kind of generally know. You can look up land on Zillow all day. You can look up land and prices anywhere, but you can't look up construction costs. You can talk to people that do construction. They can give you a roundabout idea. I sort of had a renovations expert contractor here the last Monday, and he says, well, it's around this. No, okay, so let's just say for your low beige box, how much would a kitchen run you if it's a small, galley kitchen? A lot of us that do this, we know what those prices really look like.
Right.
It could adjust, and I'm not holding you to it, but if you were looking to build, let's say, a 1,700 square foot home, beige box, nothing fancy, not a bunch of acres, just your typical, let's say, 8,000 square foot lot, maybe smaller. What are the overall costs? What are we judging on? Let's say electrics ran, water's there, and permits are done. You're just build basic construction.
So you're talking hard costs,
right?
Yeah, just straight hard costs, and that one's. We never work like that.
A lot of variables.
And that's okay. So that's what I was hoping to get to.
Variables.
So let's talk about the variables, because and the reason why I mention this is so many people, they walk in our office and that's how they put it to us. And I'm like, wow,
no,
you can't do that.
The thing that you have to work with people on, and sometimes it's educating people about, is project cost. And the hard cost, it's one and probably the single biggest aspect of the cost, but then there's all these other costs, the fees, the school, everything else.
Right.
None of those things are already paid, and they're also very regional.
Who does that for the client? Does the client do it, or do they?
We do that on soft costs, like on permitting, school fees, all the different fees of the county.
Right.
If there's entitlement stuff, a fire hydrant still has to go in as part of an old parcel map. We could do that. We give them very accurate costs on that soft cost number. And then the hard costs as well. You're building a new home. You know how much it costs. It's not, they're not coming across surprises in a remodel or something.
Right.
So you could there's no reason to not have, and we give people a fixed cost to build their home. We work through a lot of detail with them up front, selection list, the design aspect of the thing. But at the end of that process, before we start building, we sign a contract. It's a very specific amount and it's fixed.
Right.
And they know exactly what they're getting for how much.
And what I found is, and I want to come to you next here in a second, Leo, because I think it's important to talk about both sides. What I found when it comes to people that are coming in as a construction company and actually designing and building these homes, I hear it over and over. If they're good, what they always talk about, good, fast, and cheap. Pick two, right? Good, fast, and cheap, right? If they're good and they're fast, they're not cheap. Right. And if they're fast and they're cheap, they're not good. And I see it all the time. And they're like, wow, they're really expensive. And I say, well, if they're going into that much detail and they're doing that much work and they're that good, maybe they are expensive because they're giving you the truth. What I see happen a lot is people don't always give those hard costs as they move forward in a contract. And then the person that's having the home renovated gets took for some money, or they think that they're extremely smart, even though they do this for a living, and they start subcontracting people themselves.
That's death.
That's danger.
By the way, you kind of have it backwards. We ask people up front, and if they won't give it to us, we won't build for them. We ask them up front, what's your budget?
Yeah.
Their budget drives the job, and you have to keep attention to it throughout the process, starting with the design, starting with the selection of the land, and then keeping them on track with that budget, because our objective, we don't make money designing houses, we make money building the home.
Right.
And that's our objective, is to get there to build the home. If at the end of the day we haven't met their budget, then we're not going to build it. It's unlikely they can go forward. We've had people come in with plans, because we also bid plans. That was unbuildable. They didn't communicate or effectively their budget to their architect, and we had people come in, they were 40%. And we're tight and conservative with numbers, and we try to give people good value, so we know we weren't high.
Right.
So people have to have their budget, and the budget is as much a design tool as it is sitting down with a designer who has the expertise and helping them pick out fixtures and colors and everything else. So unless someone's going to give you their budget, we explain why why we need their budget number. We design to that number, but then we bid as competitively as we can.
Right.
So they're not just, hey, you know, we'll tell them that's a very healthy budget. It's realistic. We could probably come in and even a bit under that from what you're describing.
Right.
Or we'll tell them up front, listen, there's no way.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Yeah. So let me get this right. You want $1 million home for $200,000.
And literally, we've had that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's every day.
Okay, so let me get this right. You want to wrap the entire outside of the house in marble. Yeah. That actually, no, I saw that. There was a house, and it actually sold. It took a year in Chula Vista. It was completely. It was straight out of Scarface. Tony Montana, like wrapped in marble. It was the craziest thing, and it was only like a 1,900 square foot home. But anyways, we have to go to some commercials, quick commercial break real quick, and we're going to come back and talk to Leo because I want to get your perspective, which I think is so unique that we have two people that do the same thing just for different reasons.
Right.
So we're going to get back to you right after we come off of this commercial. Thank you again, ESPN 1700. This is KSA Insider, and I'm your host, Chris McCullough.
Alliance Escrow, the most reliable and hardworking escrow team in San Diego. Buying, selling, or refinancing a home can be a stressful event, and our friendly staff here at Alliance is ready to make your home buying or selling process as smooth as possible. We strive for outstanding customer service and are very dedicated to giving top quality service to each and every sale. Alliance Escrow will provide a special discount to active and reserve service members and disabled or retired veterans as well. Whether it's residential, commercial, bulk business, or refinance, call Alliance Escrow today and let us help you close your deal as seamlessly as possible. Call 619-609-0015 or go to www.allianceescrowinc.com today. That's 619-609-0015 or www.allianceescrowinc.com. Alliance Escrow, your partners in real estate.
Tycourt Title of San Diego is the next generation of title companies. They offer their clients the most complete real estate services in the nation. They have 4 convenient locations in the greater San Diego area to service all your residential and commercial transactions. Tycourt Title of San Diego offers you title and escrow solutions. Whether you are buying, selling, or refinancing, they have you covered. With over a century of experience, you can count on Tycourt Title of San Diego. They have a solid history of servicing customers with high integrity, white glove service, and value. They also have unrivaled financial strength to back your policies. For all your real estate transactions, call Tycourt Title of San Diego today at 619-260-5200.
Just last year, 429 million people had their identity stolen as a result of data breaches. Face it, your personal information is out there waiting to be hijacked. Identity theft not only damages your reputation, but costs you thousands of dollars while taking you years to resolve. Why take a chance? ID Cyber Center monitors and protects your bank and credit card accounts, social security number, and even your social media. If your ID is stolen, ID Cyber Center recovers your identity so you can live your life with ease. In today's virtual world, not having identity monitoring, protection, and recovery is like driving without auto insurance. Visit idcybercenter.com to learn more. Again, that's idcybercenter.com or call them at 855-829-6097. Remember, it's not just your identity, it's your life.
This is John Feinstein with a CBS Sports Minute. The NFL is all about quarterbacks, especially in the current offense rules the game era. The days when a team can win the Super Bowl with a second-rate quarterback are past, which is why the NFL debuts of 2 rookie quarterbacks on Sunday were fascinating to watch. The Eagles' Carson Wentz was the lucky one because he got to face the Browns, a franchise that has never reached the Super Bowl in either of its incarnations and won't anytime soon. The result? Wentz was nearly flawless, 278 yards passing, 2 touchdown passes, and a 29-10 win. Dak Prescott had to face a real NFL team, the Giants. He did nothing wrong in the Cowboys' final drive and might have pulled out a miracle win if Terrence Williams had gotten out of bounds on the game's final play. 1 win, 1 loss. For both, though, the future appears bright. I'm John Feinstein.
CBS Sports Radio. Football's back, and there's another free contest this weekend at DraftKings.com. $100,000 in total prizes are up for grabs. No deposit required. That means you can play for free to win your share of $100,000 this weekend. DraftKings is the destination for 1 week fantasy football. And with no season-long commitments, you play when you want with the players you want. Just pick your contest, draft your team, and follow the action live. Renew old rivalries with friends, or try 50-50 contests, where the top half of all entries win cash. And no matter what your level of fantasy expertise, DraftKings offers fun, fair, free contests all season long. Use code FORMATION at DraftKings.com now and play in this weekend's free $100,000 contest. It's free with no deposit required, so there's no reason not to play. That's Formation to play free for your share of $100,000 this weekend at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com.
Eligibility restrictions may apply. See website for details.
All right, San Diego, we're back. Want to get right back to what we were talking about before we went off, but I want to come from Leo's perspective. So since Leo's a spec builder, he's not having to design and build on a budget based off of the individual's taste and desires. He's building properties on his budget to try to touch as many people as possible to make a profit.
Build to the masses, yep.
Yeah, so let's talk about what do you consider your build cost? Is there something that you specialize in, or is there kind of a set cost that you have on your construction?
Well, I have a couple formula templates that I go by.
Right.
So when I'm buying land, because I focus on that, and then when I'm going to go and sell whatever that end result's going to be, I already kind of have an idea of what's going to be there.
Right.
Whether it's going to be a 2,500 square foot home, 3,000 square foot home, or as small as, 1,500 square foot home.
Right.
If it's going to be 1 story or 2 story. I mean, so I have an idea once I've seen the parcel, done my numbers, run my templates. It tells me truly where to go. But it all starts with that number of knowing what's selling in the market today.
Right.
So and then reverse engineering backwards from that number.
I got a question for you. And I literally just thought about it while we're sitting here. Is it prevalent, or is it a thing? If it's not a thing, I'm going to say that I'm patenting it right now. I don't know if I can do that on that, but have you ever considered maybe taking those designs and those templates and can you sell those to people, or is there something like that where people can buy these kind of
shelf plans you can buy?
Shelf plans, is that what it's called?
Yeah, they're through architects or through design companies. You can buy shelf plans. I got my setbacks. There's a company called E-Plans online. There you can go look at floor plans, and you have the idea of the lot size, and it literally gives you the width and dimensions of the home and so on. So you can go that route, but and that can save you a little money,
right?
Because E-Plans has a wide library of house plans, and you can go and kind of look it over and see exactly from what you have as an idea if it can really come to fruition. Because if you're starting fresh as somebody out there buying a parcel, wanting to build my dream home, hire the architect, hire the design company, hire the contractor. You got to have that idea of what you want. And I am the one who does all that.
Right.
So I already have an idea of what's going to get built once I've bought that parcel.
Right.
And so I start from the aspect of what is selling. Single stories sell more than 2 stories.
Yes, they do.
So that's all I build right now, single story homes. 2,500 square foot and above is the average, the majority of homes being sold today, 25 to 2,800 square feet. So that's what I build.
Where do you usually build? Like I'm
all over the county right now. So
right,
I've got
so
San Marcos, I've got Lemon Grove, National City, Vista. So I got projects all over the county.
Right.
But I focus on that neighborhood. I build to the neighborhood.
Right. And what's unique is I know you also have people out to your building sites like once a month.
Yes, we do educational programs once a month on site.
Wow.
So if someone's looking to get educated on what they want to go do,
right,
like this Saturday, we have a project. It's 4385 Middlesex Drive in Kensington, 92116.
Kensington.
And the house is already done.
Right.
That's a remodel. It's a rehab. But it's a massive rehab. You know, it was taken to studs in a lot of areas.
Wow.
So we have education once a month, and we educate people, no cost, on what you should go do, what you should go get educated on if you want to do this.
And that's what I always liked about you. I mean, I've known you for a while, and you've always been one of those guys, and I've always said it, my biggest heartache when it came to the retail side of the house, real estate in general, people, agents specifically, is they're always so closed off with their information. But investors and people that kind of, are really out there, they're always willing to share. They're always willing to help out as long as somebody's humble and they'll listen. And I just think it's so cool that you actually really help people, whether it's another investor or anybody that just wants to show up and try to get that information. So that's going to lead me to my next thing is actually, one more time. You said E-Online or?
Say that again?
The
E-Plans.
E-Plans.
Okay, E-Plans. If you're listening right now, I could use another sponsor. So you're more than welcome. Just, you can get me on Facebook. Chris McCullough starts with a K, KSA Kris. But E-Plans. So make sure if you're looking for something like that, check out E-Plans because it may be able to help you just get an idea of what you want before you sit down with somebody like Zebu Construction to really put something together. So this leads me into my next big question. Red flags. I love putting out information where we educate people on how not to get took or how not to, get stuck within a process. And building a dream home is a huge undertaking.
Yes.
So red flags. What are red flags when it comes, and we'll kind of walk down the list. What's a red flag when it comes to buying the land?
Well, my number one, I always say this because you hear it from the agent side. You talk about agents and they're not, you kind of gave them a label. If they're not knowledgeable behind what happens after that person buys that land, then they've got a big problem coming at them.
Right.
You got to have the soils test, and if it's requiring septic system, you got to have the perk test. You got to have those two reports. I see this all the time. Buildable lot. Well, is it sewer or septic? Well, it's septic. Well, is there a perk test done?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, then how do you know it's buildable?
How do you know? Right.
Is there a soil test done? No. Well, then how do you know it's buildable?
Right.
So I see that so much. That's my number one red flag.
Well,
there.
Because if it's, flat and covered with dirt, then it must be buildable. And honestly, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And Adam, who's sitting over here, he was mostly sitting in. He is the guy that really works with a lot of clients just on buying land. And he, this month you're closing out a couple more, and that's kind of his thing. And he goes out there and helps these people really ensure that it's a buildable lot before we actually start lifting contingencies and look to close the property. So that's yours.
That's my number one.
What about you, Jonathan?
Well, when people come to us, they're looking to build, and I would say for those people, red flag for them should be, if you're looking to build a home, is a contractor or architect who is pushing you to sign something right away, and is not listening, because people have to spell out their needs in terms of what they want, how they want to live, the spaces they need, and their budget. So if you don't have a builder or an architect, a design build firm listening to that stuff up front, and they're pushing, either to sign or they're pushing their program, their itinerary. Tell us the dirty secret.
So I can see that you're trying to not say it, but why? Why is that? What's the dirty secret? What are these people doing if they're trying to push you quickly to close? Well,
you're not going to be a good fit, because ultimately people have to. You're there to meet what they want. And they're going to live with that house, and they're going to live in that house a certain way. And if they're not getting their ideas, they're not able to communicate it. And the builder, the architect,
they're just trying to get paid.
They're just trying to move the project along. It's going to be pulling teeth, and it's going to be an unpleasant experience from the very beginning. So I would say that would be a red flag for people,
right?
When they go to talk to a builder or a design build firm. I think we're really good with that. We sit down, we listen to them. We try not to talk at all. We listen to them, what they want, how they live, what is coming up for them. Do they have the kids? Are the kids on the way out? Are they retiring? Are they? What's their time frame? Are they going to be in there long term? People tell us, we're going to die in this house. Okay, well, that's a little bit different build than, we're going to move along in a couple of years. So you have to listen and to all these things and really take that in, not interject. So if they're not getting that from a builder, that's a huge red flag. It means they're not going to get it throughout the process, and they're going to end up more than likely unhappy.
So we talked about 2 red flags, and I'm going to follow up with those 2 red flags with, okay, great. So we talked about unbuildable land or buildable land. First question. So how do we find, what should somebody do to find buildable land? What should they do? What's the step first process?
Where do you want to live? Where do you want to build?
So pick an area.
Let's say Fallbrook.
Right. I want to live in Fallbrook. I love Fallbrook.
So Fallbrook. So now, what's on the market right now in the MLS for Fallbrook?
So we jump out there on Zillow.
Or they jump on Realty.com or Zillow or Redfin or whoever.
Redfin or wherever it is.
And they pull up what's out there.
Right. Get educated.
Right. And now they start to see, because there's going to be descriptions, just like any house, there's always descriptions of the land. And they just start reading. And then they start looking to see, size, dimensions, flat, pitched, septic, not. I mean, just right down that line.
So just start getting familiar with it.
Right.
And then if they want to actually go out and start finding that land piece, let's say so I'm assuming they find an agent.
Right.
How would you recommend they find? Do you really think an agent matters when it comes to if somebody's
Very little.
Yeah, I think if somebody's doing it right, an agent shouldn't matter.
Very little.
And I think a lot of people think, well, if I have a good agent, I can buy the right land. I disagree. And I know I apologize to the agents that are out there if but that's how I feel. So
I'm not an agent.
Yeah.
And I buy and sell all day long without agent.
Yeah, I used to buy a ton of. I still do buy a ton of stuff off market. I don't do all the things I used to because I do have my license. I can't do that. Right. But I think you don't need an agent always in the mix. You can educate yourself on a lot of things, and then it comes down to, how do you pick it? So I think maybe the due diligence period. And this is where, if you're listening right now, jump on, and we'll get it here in a minute. And actually, Jonathan, you tell us right now, what's your website? Because they have a land due diligence cheat sheet on their website, and it is awesome.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
it's zebuhomes.com, ZEB like Bob U, ZEBU homes.com. And they can follow
that
the
due
link
diligence
to the
checklist
land
is
due diligence.
awesome. So next one. Now you talk about a contractor. How do you find a quality contractor? Or how would you find, if you were just knowing what you know and you were just some guy, how would you find a quality construction group or contractor to build your dream home?
You go into a local agent's office, or you can just ask who are some good local builders. Who do you recommend? Or if someone if they have a friend who built for them, the BBB, Better Business Bureau.
Right.
Good builders are on there, and if they haven't taken the time to get on there and have a good rating, then
it's an indicator.
Right. BIA, Building Industry.
That's what I'd recommend.
Building Industry Association will have a list of the contractors, and the contractor should be a member. In good standing. The Contractor State License Board, the people can go on there more as a screening process to see that there hasn't been issues and the person's in good standing and their license is up to date. And when people get references, they shouldn't just get client references. They should get trade references. They should get the references from their local lumber supplier.
That can help in one aspect, but my biggest one is show me what you're building today. Ask that contract.
Let's go look at it.
Let's go look at it. Show me exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, it goes to references.
Because that's the biggest reference is what are you doing today?
Right.
And then you go to that site and you look at what they're building.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty fantastic. So we're going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. Real quick, number one recommendation you would have for our listeners if they're looking to build a dream home. Leo, go.
Buy the land at the right price.
Buy the land at the right price. And you and I have talked about this. I know what you buy your land for, and I'm not going to say it over the radio, but I believe that's where you make your money.
Yes.
That's actually where you really
your money's made, whether you're holding it for 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. Your money's made in the purchase.
Right.
So buy the land at the right price.
I'd say know what you want. For someone considering a custom home, know what you want, know what your needs are realistically, and know what your budget is.
Right. I would say if I were giving a recommendation to anybody, my number one recommendation, if you're looking to build your dream home, is sit down and take the time. When it comes to buying a home or building a home, it's an emotional.
Yep.
It's an emotional thing.
Tie.
It is. It really is. You get emotional about it. Try to take the emotion out of it and educate yourself as much as possible. Go out and talk to people. Go out and meet contractors. Go out and look at new construction. Jump online. We were surrounded by the Google. Yeah. The Google is awesome. There's a ton of stuff on there. You could even reach out to us, on our Facebook page, Kim Steele and Associates. There's just educate yourself. Don't say, I'm going to buy a house this month. I'm going to buy land this month, and I'm going to build a dream home. If it takes 6 months, if it takes a year to educate yourself to do it the right way the first time and the last time, then you're truly going to get your dream home. So that's my recommendation. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and start buttoning this thing up and get off the air. I wish we could stay on for like 8 more hours because this is awesome. I hope we're giving you a lot of good content. Again, ESPN 1700, KSA Insider.
Tycor Title of San Diego is the next generation of title companies. They offer their clients the most complete real estate services in the nation. They have 4 convenient locations in the greater San Diego area to service all your residential and commercial transactions. Tycor Title of San Diego offers you title and escrow solutions. Whether you are buying, selling, or refinancing, they have you covered. With over a century of experience, you can count on Tycor Title of San Diego. They have a solid history of servicing customers with high integrity, white glove service, and value. They also have unrivaled financial strength to back your policies. For all your real estate transactions, call Tycor Title of San Diego today at 619-260-5200.
Alliance Escrow, the most reliable and hardworking escrow team in San Diego. Buying, selling, or refinancing a home can be a stressful event, and our friendly staff here at Alliance is ready to make your home buying or selling process as smooth as possible. We strive for outstanding customer service and are very dedicated to giving top quality service to each and every sale. Alliance Escrow will provide a special discount to active and reserve service members and disabled or retired veterans as well. Whether it's residential, commercial, bulk business, or refinance, call Alliance Escrow today and let us help you close your deal as seamlessly as possible. Call 619-609-0015 or go to www.allianceescrowinc.com today. That's 619-609-0015 or www.allianceescrowinc.com. Alliance Escrow, your partners in real estate.
Hi, I'm Philippe Heller with the Real Estate Inspection Company. When buying real estate today, it's more important than ever to have a thorough home inspection to protect yourself. When quality and experience count, contact the Real Estate Inspection Company. We're the largest home inspection company serving San Diego for 10 years. After checking hundreds of items throughout a house, we provide a detailed, computer-generated inspection report. And we use the newest and best infrared thermal imaging at every inspection 7 days a week. Check us out at sdinspect.com. That's sdinspect.com.
Go to Fuller Honda, where they exceed your expectations from test drive to delivery. Their professional sales team is committed to a no-pressure, high-integrity approach to your ownership experience. Best of all, the new Honda lineup features some of the best fuel economy on the market, along with contemporary styling at affordable prices. The Fuller family has been servicing San Diegans' automotive needs for over 60 years. Fuller Honda, exit Auto Park Drive off the 805 freeway in the Chula Vista Auto Park.
In business, risks and rewards come with every decision, like moving to the cloud with Office 365. While its benefits include anywhere access and lower costs, cyber threats and user errors can quickly wipe out data and the money you save. Barracuda Essentials for Office 365 provide an added layer of security and functionality for threat protection, email migration, data recovery, and quality of service. Move securely to Office 365. Visit barracuda.com/essentials to learn more.
You know, Greeny, when it comes to sports, I'm a big fan of toughness, and it's no different for tractors and utility vehicles.
That's why Golick and I are so proud to both own a Mahindra, makers of the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth.
Mahindra tractors are so tough that even the fenders are heavy-duty steel, not plastic. No wonder they offer a 5-year powertrain warranty on every Mahindra tractor.
And they're made in the USA utility vehicle. The Mahindra Impact delivers industry-leading towing, hauling, and ground clearance, plus a 3-year powertrain warranty.
So take advantage of no interest, no payments till 2017 on Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor and the toughest utility vehicles on earth.
Learn more at MahindraUSA.com. MahindraUSA.com.
From your friends at Mason Saw and Lawnmower in El Cajon, or visit them at MasonSaw.com. That's MasonSaw.com. Mahindra, the toughest tractors on earth.
All right, we're back. This is Chris with KSA Insider. We're on ESPN 1700, and we're going to be buttoning up this thing. So first off, I want to thank everybody for joining me today and shedding some light on basically this topic. I don't think it's talked about enough. I don't think there's enough education out there for people to find. So it's always great that we can actually put something like this together and put it out there into the universe. With the present state of real estate in San Diego, I think home building is absolutely a huge option that should be explored by anybody if you're willing to trade a little bit of time for easy transaction for your dream home at a great price. I think you could really get exactly what you want if you're willing to sit on time. And it's not for everybody.
Right.
And that's what we learned today. It's not for everybody, but it is pretty cool, and I think it should absolutely be explored. So before we get off the air, I want to ask both of you, how can people get a hold of you? How can they find you out there into the world? So if they want to ask you more questions on construction, or if they want to ask you more questions on education, whatever it is, how can they find you? We'll go around. Jonathan.
We're at zebuhomes.com. We're located in Fallbrook. They can call the office. It's 760-723-7205. And we'll get back to them. If they have land that they're already moving on or they've already bought and they want to build on, we're happy to meet with them anytime. And there's no charge. We don't charge until we're under contract. So that's some, people are reluctant to ask to have us come out or to even meet at the office because they feel there's going to be some sort of pressure. There's going to be some sort of cost involved. And that's not the case. We'll meet with people until they're moving forward, and we don't even charge until we've worked on a floor plan and confirmed elevations, and confirm we're still on budget, and then we will sign contract. So that's
awesome. What areas do you work in? Because I know you from our town where I live physically.
Right. We work Rancho Santa Fe up and through the wine country up Temecula.
So all through the Temecula Appalachian wine country, things like that.
Right.
That's awesome. So it's roughly North County, San Diego, all the way up to South Riverside.
Yeah, Bonsall, all the way down to, so it's just a proximity thing. It's 45 minutes from our office is the max.
Right. Well, you guys are always busy. I mean, I see new construction all the time that you guys are doing. So
we stay busy.
Yeah. Awesome. Leo, how can people get a hold of you?
They can find me on Facebook, really big on Facebook. You can see, Crest Investment Group, its own fan page, its own business page.
I'm a fan.
I know you are. You'll see exactly what we're doing. You'll see what we're building. You'll see what I'm involved with. Also, my personal page, you find that as well, Leo Clark. And I like to put it out on social media. So just a little bit of YouTube I'm doing. I will have a YouTube channel soon.
Very cool.
But the social presence is where I'm at.
Okay, awesome.
And then my phone number, 619-300-6123.
Right, and what I would say for everybody listening, if you really want to, and I do it all the time. There's a great lady down south. She's she does a lot of renovation stuff. She has like whatever money she collects, she gives it to the Wounded Warriors. And I go down there and I sit in every now and again for a day. Yeah. I go out. There's a lot of investors that are out there. You can check out the different investment groups. Just Google it, Investment Group San Diego, and Real Estate Investment Group, and they're so easygoing and willing to give you their information and time. So go out. Find Leo online. Go and check out some of his educational programs. I think they're fantastic. So again, thank you, both of you, for coming in here today and giving us your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, today for listening. We hope you got some good value out of the show. If you have any more questions for me, you're more than welcome to reach out to me as well. I'm huge on social media, along with our business, Kim Steele and Associates. It's Steele, S-T-E-E-L, just like the middle. You can find us on Facebook. There's a business page. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can pretty much find us almost anywhere. If you just want to reach out to me, you can send me an email. It's Kris, K-R-I-S, at KSADreamhomes.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook as well. It's KSA Kris. At KSA Kris, and I'm more than welcome to take any of your questions. And if you have some show ideas, reach out to me. I would love to hear some show ideas and hear what you want to learn about, so you don't get took and you don't feel like you've been preyed upon in this real estate market. So again, thank you, San Diego. We hope you're having a great day today, and always make sure to check out KSA Insider, because we're here to give you the scoop in order to protect yourself and not get taken out there in the real estate world. Thanks again. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.